I have a new client. You ready, everybody? I have a new client. I made a placement. They fired her within 2 weeks. I have a 90-day guarantee. So I immediately went to work on the backfill. Okay. I told them I won't even count the fired placement as the original placement because I felt embarrassed. I had missed a glaring red flag. I don't know what that is. Okay. But their team started interviewing my new candidates. Then I got an email that they had their own internal hire. I don't want to send the money back. What should I do? Okay. Now that reminded me of our friend here, Rich, who says, I don't give money back, right?
Yeah, they get a credit.
Yeah. Well, it depends what your contract says. I mean, it's not even a credit. If your contracts, it all depends on if your contract says give the money back, yeah, you got to give the money back. If the contract says, listen, it's a replacement only, it's a replacement only.
Yeah, but they've fulfilled it themselves. They don't need her to replace the person.
Doesn't matter.
That was their choice.
Yeah.
You know, you order a pizza from Domino's, hey, and your pizza, finishes a minute before they get there. Hey, you know what? Technically, I suppose you don't take the Domino's pizza, but the reality is it's, that's their choice.
So you think you're going to hold on to the fee? Okay, look, sometime in the future when you need something,
when they want to fill it, we'll apply it to the next search. Right? But we don't give money back.
No, it all depends on the client and how good a relationship you have and what you want, how your contract is written. All right, but if you've got a contract, listen, you can be a dick and say, listen, it's my money, I'm keeping it. You can say, hey, listen, I'll give you $5,000 off the next 3 searches, use this as a retainer. You can do a lot of things, but you don't have to do anything unless your contract says you have to do it.
There you go. That's it right there. That's
it was her fault. She said it was my fault. I missed something I should have caught. Okay.
Well, what does that mean?
I don't know. We don't know what maybe the education was not
that's not on the recruiter though, Animal. That's not on them.
Yeah,
we do.
She accepted responsibility.
She shouldn't have because I've got 2 offers that we just got signed. I'm doing education verifications. I'm doing employment background checks. I'm doing that criminal background check. That's on us as the employer to verify. So it's not the recruiter doesn't need to take that on as her fault. No. I don't think.
She said she's a new recruiter. She doesn't know
what's wrong with me. I think she owes them to return the fee. Okay.
Oh God, you're one of those recruiters. Bleeding heart.
Okay, always I'm a bleeding heart.
It's my fault. You made a bad decision.
Oh, dude, I'm the biggest bleeding heart liberal you'll ever meet, and I wouldn't return the fucking money.
Okay, because there's bleeding heart liberals for politics. It doesn't mean you're a bleeding heart liberal with your own business. Okay,
I think Tommy
separate things.
And he's a bleeding heart liberal. Tommy, you always say it. I don't buy it, my friend.
There you go. Which is with me. Yeah. Okay.
Tommy's like, I want to be a liberal, but I like money way too much.
Hey, no, we can have money.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, no,
I'm not a communist. I'm a liberal.
Listen, I think most people, and I'm going to guess you're in the same boat. You think you're liberal because you care less if someone's purple or gay or whatever, right? And but you just leave your money alone. Let me keep my taxes low so I can keep more money. And listen, if you're not hurting anyone, who the hell cares?
Okay.
You're social liberal, economic conservative.
Yes, that's
because I don't care about taxes either. We make too much money to care about taxes.
That's called a South Park conservative. Okay.
A South Park conservative.
It was for a while. Okay, it was for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think she should, if anything, return a portion of the fee.
What? Oh my God, Animal, I'm gonna hang up. You can't think like that. You're running a business.
Why? Animal, tell me why.
Because that's how Jerry does it. Okay, and Jerry
I don't care what. No, I want to know why you think it needs to be returned.
Because they got nothing. They got nothing for her.
No. What about her time?
Yeah, take 25% of the fee.
Why? She's not getting her time back.
No, but she'll get 25% of the fee for her time committed.
That's fantastic. She can feed her cat.
So what if the client made the mistake? But what if the client didn't check the references? What if the client didn't do the due diligence? Then what?
Okay, that's different.
What about all this recruiter did, found a resume, screened them, said, all right, they sound like a good fit. Hey, there you go, Mr. Client. Tell me what you think. They interviewed, they screened, they did the background check most likely. They did everything. That's it. Recruiters are just cutting through the muck and bringing the top people supposedly to the door that fit your bill. To be
The biggest problem is the lack
you
of
have no
training,
control
and
over
she doesn't
any-
know what she's doing.
Okay, here's another tough one. Okay, you
What's the
want
tough
another
one?
problem, or you want a tech question? Another problem, since we're all revved up. Okay.
Go.
I had a search. It took me 3 months, the whole hiring process. My candidate finally got the job, but it's been over a week since they extended the offer, and we haven't got any formal offer letter. I called the client last week. She said she'd have it ready. It didn't come. Then she said, you know what? I got a lot on my plate. I got some other priorities. Okay. The candidate's pissed off, and he's interviewing with another company, not her client, later this week. What should she do?
Well, first of all, she shouldn't be dealing with human resources. That's the problem.
How do you know she's dealing
Hey.
with human resources?
In the thing, she said it in the thing. It was human resources.
Okay. Was it? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the solution to the problem? Some dumb
Well,
person?
okay. First of all, as the human resources person who there's something going on wrong there. I mean,
How
I get
dare
offer
you,
letters.
Tommy? How dare you?
How dare you? How dare
Our
you?
friend here, yeah.
No, but I listen. I get offer letters out immediately. You know, like immediate.
So that
So
would be the exception that proves the rule, because most of these internal recruiters they make it difficult, more difficult than it needs to be. They still don't feel like we want to partner with them and that we're an enemy, and they want to keep it.
okay, but forget you for a minute. Like, forget the recruiter. For the candidate, like we know, the hiring managers know, the leaders know that time kills all deals. We all understand that. And so if I drug my feet and I didn't send an offer letter out for a week, I would be like, that would be a big deal. That would be like a big error. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because we would
Yeah.
lose somebody.
But companies do it all the time, especially this year.
Are
Well-
you serious? They won't send an offer out when they're good. They'll
drag their feet. They'll drag their
Yeah,
feet.
I mean, I had a client this year. I mean, I did a bunch of deals with them, but they would take 2 weeks to do background checks, then get the official offer out.
See, we put the offer letter out before we do all the background checks, and then it's pending the background checks. But
Contingent upon the background check. Yep.
Yeah, but they have to sign the release, and then all the background checks take less than a week. It takes us less than a week to do all of that.
Take less than a day to do background checks with technology today. But either way,
Well, no, because the thing that takes the longest is the employment verifications, and because then you're depending upon other employers to, that
Yeah.
takes the longest.
yeah, either way, it shouldn't take. I mean, I get
Not
it.
2 weeks. No.
It should never take 2 weeks.
Donna,
Yeah.
Donna, do you just check the verify the person worked there, or do you actually do a reference check?
No. Well, reference checks are different, which they're not typically used, but it's just title and dates of employment. Dates of employment and
So-
titles held.
All right. So, hey, let me ask you a question. If you have a candidate that his title at the company is, say, VP of sales, but he's really not a VP. He's just they give everyone these fancy titles. And, this guy puts he's an account executive because he's really an individual contributor with a VP title. And you do your reference check. They tell you, no, he's a VP. What do you do? What's your thoughts?
Clarify, ask. In our industry, there's no consistency in titles, so that
Mine
wouldn't
too.
be a deal breaker. It would just be something to investigate further and find out what's going on.
Okay.
So, and now I think if we're flip-flop the other way, if he called himself a VP and then they're like, he's an account exec, that would be a red flag. But the other way around wouldn't be a red flag. It would
But
just
also-
Because I
be
have a
clarify.
client who calls them sales managers, and they're really VP of sales.
Yeah.
Right.
They down.
Or controllers and their CFOs. So
Yeah.
that's a different. If you were to leave that client and go somewhere else, and they say, "Oh, you're just a controller," and then you see what his duties and responsibilities are, the dude's a CFO.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
that's just a different title, but a different, role set up differently. But like if you're selling to banks, everyone's called a VP.
Right.
Yeah. No, they're really an AE,
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, bankers are they're very snobbish.
They're all VPs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned that. I was so impressed when I met someone before, and he was the VP at Bank of America, and I was like, wow. And I was like, oh, everybody's a VP at Bank of America.
You're a nobody. Don't pull it over on. You won't pull anything over
You know
on
who's
me.
also notorious that is recruiting companies.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. Tommy did not give a solution to the problem. He just said you're dealing with the wrong person in the company.
Mhm.
Okay. What's the solution to that problem? Look, client, you're going to lose this candidate.
I mean, like ideally, it's I'm gonna become the dick that I don't like to be, and be like, okay, guys, you haven't got an offer let. What the fuck is
Give your
going on?
Republican.
Yeah.
He's gonna go somewhere else. Why are you doing this? Time kills all deals. You know the stuff that I do, right? That's
No,
like
I don't know
hey,
what you do. I want to hear how would you say it. You know, Rich tells us exactly like
that's exactly what I would say. It's like, hey, Corey, hey, it's Tom Alascio. Look, we are now 4 days, 5, 6, 7 days out from you said you would have them an offer. They haven't got their offer yet. They're starting to get cold feet. They got other recruiters calling them. If you really want to hire this guy, either the offer comes the next day or two, or we're done. He's going to go somewhere else. Do you want to lose him? If you want to lose him, don't give me an offer. If you want to hire him, give me an offer. But we need to do it now. That's it.
Mhm.
and you think that works?
Yep. It does.
It does.
I think. I mean, even internally, when the wheels aren't moving fast enough, that's what I have to do. I mean, it's the same process, and yes, it lights a fire.
There's a difference. They can tell Tommy just go jump in the lake. Okay,
Fine. That's fine.
But
At
they
least I
can't
know
tell
that
you,
you're
you're inside. You got a job there. Okay, you won't.
No, but Animal, this is the problem, Animal. This is why you want to give the money back and do all these things, because you're too afraid to lose a client.
exactly.
And companies, but companies that treat you like shit aren't clients. They're just a waste of time. And it's a hard lift.
This recruiter's got 3 months invested in this search
Doesn't
already,
matter.
right?
It doesn't matter. Listen, it is hard to walk away from a client, a good client that's actually paid you money, that doesn't have a problem every time there's a deal. It's hard, even in this market. It's especially hard. But you're going to save a lot of headache.
Here's something else that
you're going to save yourself a lot of headache by working with people that want to work your way and with you as a partner. And listen, it's a partnership. You're right. You know what? Sometimes one side's going to win. Sometimes one side's going to lose.
Here's another thing, though. Did you say in the scenario that this one candidate had already been 3 months into the process, or was it just the recruiter?
3-month process, and I don't know that. I don't know.
Because the one thing I would say, if they already had a 3-month process with the one candidate, they should not be surprised that the offer letter is another lengthy part. Like that is just like
Good point, Donna.
you should have already figured out this is a slow moving, thing.
They said they would have them an offer. That's a different, like, if the whole process is long and they say, hey, this is going to be a interview next week and it takes 3 weeks, and then they say the next interview is going to be in 2 days and it takes 7 days, then yeah, I guess you should expect that. But it sounded like from that post that they had told the recruiter, like, we want to hire, we got an offer coming, get them all set, and they got the verbal acceptance and everything, but still no offer letter. So
yeah, but it sounds like the whole thing is taking forever. So
yeah, no, like some people say,
don't be surprised
if there's a lot of interviews, you're going to a job where there's tons of useless meetings as well. Okay, so it's a very bad sign, they say, if there's a drawn out hiring process.
Depends on the level of the search, but in general, I agree with you.
Okay, here's a tool called RB2B. Okay, RB2B, and what it does is it tells you who comes to your website, not just doesn't just show the company they're coming from, it shows the identity of the individual. And then you can follow up with that person using the information it's given you. You think that's worthwhile? Because it shows that.
Yeah, it's free unless you get like 1,000 users or something like that. I have it on mine. I can't get it to work right though. So
yeah, Cale Campbell swears by it. He uses it because he gets lots of visitors, so it lets them reach out to clients that have visited their website or candidates that have visited their website and say, "Hey, you were at our website. What are you looking for?" kind of thing.
Who is this?
People are going to get nervous when you say, "Oh, I know you're at my website." Jeez, people are touchy.
Animal. Everyone knows everything where everyone is. It's just.
Yeah, when someone said, "How'd you get my name?" I was like, "Really?"
Yeah.
Like, where have you been?
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I don't think it's free. And they also said Warmly does the same thing. Anybody
A
else?
lot of companies, Google does it for you for free.
There's Google Analytics.
Yeah.
And it
There's all kinds of
identifies the
tools like
actual
that out
person's name? Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Oh, here's a tough one. Okay. You guys are going to love this.
Okay.
What, are you on the washroom today or something? I've never seen you. Never show turkey face.
I can't get my camera to work.
You can't get your camera to work. This is the tech guy. Okay. He
I
knows
know.
all the
I don't know
new
what the
tech.
problem is.
He's the master of the future and AI. He knows every tool, and he can't get his webcam on.
You only have one
Congratulations.
camera? You don't have backups? What?
He does have. Last time he couldn't get the camera on, he used his iPad. Okay. Now, Tommy,
See?
it's okay with me, but why shouldn't I take a little vitriol out on you? Who else am I going to do it?
Yeah, you know me. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, right. Okay, 4 day. Okay, that's your Republican side is going to come out soon. That's your liberal side. I don't care, you know. Okay. 4 days ago, I informed the client via email that I was in touch with a candidate. I shared the candidate's LinkedIn profile, her salary expectations, and mentioned that I'd be sending the resume very soon. Today, after sending the resume, the client told me that another recruiter sent the same candidate earlier today. Okay.
I saw that.
So what should the first recruiter do?
What do you mean?
Nobody knows. I know what you guys say. Take them to court or something like that.
No, what do you? I mean, are you talking? What should the guy who sent them originally?
Yeah, person who said, I call you up, Rich, and look, I spoke to this woman, Donna Terrell. I just think she's going to be great for this position. I'm very enthusiastic. She has to update her resume. I'm sending you her LinkedIn profile and her salary expectations, and I'll send the resume as soon as I get it from her. Okay. And so then a few days later, I send the resume, and the client says, oh, you know what? Tom Alascio sent me Donna's resume this morning. Sorry, they beat you to it. What do you
Never
think?
send a resume without an interview being set up.
Well, it's hard to do sometimes nowadays, but I mean, like I just had this happen to me. The candidate, what happened to my video here? Yeah, I mean, a candidate basically, you know, I had this guy all set for this company, and took him a couple of days to get me his resume. He calls me up like whatever Thursday morning last week or 2 weeks ago. Said, hey, I just want you to know I got another call from this other recruiter, you know, but I already told him I'm working with you on this search. I'm like, all right, no, whatever. You know, I put him in the system. He's no problem. Doesn't bounce back, you know. So next thing I know, I get a call from the internal recruiter saying, hey, we already got this guy's resume. And I'm like, that's great. You should call that recruiter and ask him about, you know, what he knows about this candidate. And what the candidate said. Hey, it's Tommy. You know, so I had the recruiter send the candidate send a letter to the company saying, hey, you know, this was a situation. I want to go through Rich. He's the one that told me about the opportunity. So the guy wasn't supposed to send me the resume. You know, the internal recruiter, she ended up just passing on him totally. She's like, you know, even though the guy was perfect for the job.
That's terrible.
It is terrible.
Mhm.
And this is a whole longer story.
So
That
there's a
happened-
company out there right now,
That's
LVI
true.
Recruiting out of London, that all they're doing is spamming resumes. They'll call you up and be like, I got a CEO search. It's a confidential search. Send me your resume. We'll see what we can do. And then they send their resume out to hundreds and hundreds of people. They're infiltrating all over. They're all from London or the outskirts of London, and they got about 300 boiler room recruiters working for them, just spamming resumes. And it's really frustrating. I've heard a lot of recruiters complain about them. But to answer your question, I get a lot of searches and I fill a lot of positions without ever sending a resume. So in that person's situation, what I would have done is I would have interviewed that candidate. I would have told her who the client was, what the position was. I would have put together a confidential data sheet, either using the branded resume out of Loxo or the stuff that I have in my ChatGPT, sent it over to the client and said, here you go. This is her interview summary. Here's a data sheet. A resume is coming. When do you want to talk to her? I would have had the interview already set up before that other recruiter could have sent the resume. The candidate already would have known who the client was. Everything would have been done. I wouldn't have waited around I never wait around for a resume. I get all that shit set up way ahead of time. So I don't get backdoored like that accidentally.
Yeah, unfortunately, some clients they want to see the resume. You know, they want more than just a LinkedIn profile. And most of the clients, if that happens, when these things happen like this, they usually makes the candidate look bad anyway. And you're just like, it's not worth my time. I don't blame an internal for passing on them.
I want to know why the candidate didn't say, "Hey, I'm already interviewing with that company." Like, I feel like a lot of the time recruiters try to hide everything because they're afraid, and that's what happens.
Yeah, in my case, the candidate knew, and he told the other recruiter, and he still sent it in as a Hail Mary. But
okay, but everybody else was on board, and your client and the candidate was like, "Fuck you, no, we're not working. It has nothing to do with sending in a resume." Yeah, that's fine.
No, unfortunately, it didn't. They ended up just not interviewing the candidate at all.
Rich, I can't believe that you would walk away. Let that just fail. A great candidate just drop through your fingers. It's unbelievable.
Lots of reasons. This internal recruiter in general, incredibly lazy. The CRO did not want to be involved with anything. This is a company I got brought in by the board, and the CRO is so over his skis. He just didn't want to be involved with the hiring process, even though this person was reporting to him. He wanted to do the interview, but didn't want to give any feedback. He wanted everything to go through the internal recruiter.
What?
Yeah, and I'm like, I literally had him on a call, and I'm like, listen, me working through your internal recruiter is fine to a degree, but if you want me to sell and get feedback, I need to talk to you. It's kind of like expecting your salespeople to sell through, your client's admins. Selling in second and third hand doesn't work. So
yeah, that's weird, man.
Yeah, he ended up dropping the client.
Here's what's weird to me. Rich came from the top. Okay, the guys who run the company have the final say. They said we want to work with Rich, and going downstream, everybody was screwing up. My other question is, if the person is lazy and you know it, isn't there any way you could say, look, let me help you get this done? Okay, let me help you with it.
I tried in this case, I tried. I even said it, and he CC'd the CEO, the CRO, the HR person. And I'm like, guys, listen, I can take this all off your plate. I didn't throw her under the bus, directly at least. And it was like, listen, all this off your plate. And
so you wouldn't go back and snitch to the people who hired you.
I told them by the board advisor, I was like, guys, I don't know what's going on over here, but this is kind of a donkey show, because you cost me 3 deals because you kept putting the wrong offers out. You didn't want to, there's no urgency. You put the wrong offers out. You didn't want to, you didn't even know what they were making before you made offers.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
No, Rich should follow his own advice. He should have known a long time ago this was a lousy client that he should walk away from.
No.
Well, no, the board asked you to do it, though.
It sounds good.
This is a company that paid me a big retainer. You're in from the board. They have potentially, we're going to have 7 other hires to come, and they will next year also. Well-funded startup, huge potential, hot product. Who knew? I got an advisor that I've worked with for 20 years. Who knew you'd have, it's just incredibly disorganized.
Okay, they gave you money up front, though, because you told us never accept those promises for the future, right? Don't fall for that. Okay, you've told us. I remember your lessons. Okay. At the feet of Rich, I remember what you've told us.
In my contract,
Mount Recruiter.
Okay. In my contract, it says, even if they pay me the retainer for job A, if there's no retainer for job B, the fee's 30% instead of 25%.
Donna, how would you handle that? How would you handle it? You would not be a stupid recruiter, like an internal recruiter, like the one that Rich has to deal with.
Well, right? I don't work with any agency recruiters, so it would never happen.
Oh, you can't handle a hypothetical. Don't ask me.
Listen.
It's not part of my real life. Yeah.
Well, it's not part of my life. No, but we had the exact same thing happen that Rich had when I was at Pipeline. We had my candidate, we pushed her through, and it was the same thing. It was the owner of the company who had gotten the contract with us and all this, that, and the other. Some other recruiter put a same one in, blah, blah, blah. Exactly what happened with Rich. The same thing. They ended up passing on the candidate altogether. It was just a pain. It happens. It happens. It shouldn't happen, but it happens.
Okay. There was a couple of interesting replies. One guy said, and Rich might say it wouldn't work, but you could make a resume from LinkedIn.
Oh, they're terrible. Yeah. They look really bad.
There's actually I posted this. There's a guy now who created this, and he just got back to me. where it makes, I don't know if anybody saw, I posted a picture of what the resume it made for me
Yeah.
on, with using that app, his app. And now he'll unlock it where you can do it on anybody's LinkedIn profile and it'll make that resume for you. He wants $200 a year and you get 250 resumes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that would be something that would have worked. I use the branded resume that Loxo has, and in my case, right, it's never been an issue for me. Right, I present them all the information. It's and I say, hey, look, time kills all deals. It's a candidate market. If you want this candidate, we got to move fast. Yada yada. You upsell. You sell it that way in the beginning, so they're not pussyfooting around waiting for a resume. But there are clients who are like, well, no, we need to see a resume first, right? Like, but I tend not to work with those clients.
Nailed it here. Something is, she sent a data sheet on this candidate. She sent salary expectations.
It didn't sound like she identified the candidate though, or something. Like why didn't she? If she did all that, why didn't she set an interview up?
Okay, now some people don't do it, but I read as well. Someone else said, look, if you send a resume in, you should send the candidates available times. That's going to make a huge difference in whether the candidate gets an interview or not.
We always did that.
Yeah. Anybody agree with it? If you send in candidates times, it'll be Tom,
that would be the last thing I wrote on the presentation would be, if you would like to
schedule,
she's available, blah, blah, blah.
Which one's better for you? That's standard MRI training.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but that's an assumptive close. But Tom, so if you send in information, you expect them to interview your candidate.
I'm not sending them in like to look around or whatever. I'm like, hey, I got the candidate, right? That's what the call should have been. Hey, Mr. Employer, it's Tom Alascio. I got the candidate. We just recruited them. They don't have an updated resume here. I just sent you the interview notes. We did a thorough interview. Here's all the information, their compensation, blah, blah, blah. Here's what we call our candidate data sheets. It's as good as a resume. It's got her education, her background, her employment, blah, 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 blah. She's available tomorrow at 4, Wednesday at 3. What's better for you? I'll set that up.
Okay,
that's the conversation.
Most companies won't accept that. They say, I want to see
bullshit,
the resume.
Bullshit, because I did $400,000 this year that way. That fucking way. So yes, most
the Republican has emerged.
Jesus Christ, man. That's
the liberal is gone.
Recruiters are fucking idiots, right? They're not trained. They have zero barrier to fucking entry, and they think they know what they're fucking doing, and they do this shit, and they get on the boards and go, oh my God, I didn't get a fee because someone backdoored me. Well, you're a fucking idiot.
I'll bet Rich.
Here we go.
Rich doesn't agree with you, okay?
No, I wasn't. I just listened to Tommy rant. Was kind of fun.
Okay, so. Yeah, it is fun, and I like what he said. But Rich, sometimes the client wants to think about it. They don't want to take your word that this is your candidate.
Those are the clients that you have on retainer. Those are the clients, right? Like in Rich's case, he's on fucking retainer, so you have nothing to worry about. No one's going to
always on a retainer.
But I'm not working with a client on contingency that's that much of a pain in the ass. There's better clients. That's what Rich just told you, Animal. Fucking walk away from the shitty ass clients.
Yeah, like he walked away from his that cost him 3 deals. Okay, sorry. Sometimes
it was all for the same exact search, so it wasn't 3 extended efforts. Okay. It was the exact same search. There was 3 candidates, all that are interviewing at the same time when they were. If this.
Okay. I didn't know what you meant. So, yeah. Okay, I take back what I said. I don't know if I'll edit it out of the show. Okay. But somebody else said, what does it say in your contract? Does it say any information that identifies the candidate or from which a candidate can be identified? So it doesn't have to be a resume. If they send any, so in the court of law,
in profile over it, it's going to count as a submittal for most clients.
Okay, but so another guy said, look, whoever actually schedules an interview, the court's going to recognize that person as owning the candidate. True or false?
That's false.
Okay.
I mean, because just because if I sent the resume in today and I talk to this person and you send the person in tomorrow and then they give you credit for it because you happen to get the internal recruiter or the hiring manager quickly, I'm still going to sue you.
I like that quickler. Okay. I think I might start using that word.
Quickler. So it's Canadian. You should know.
Yeah, I would say that. Oh, you just don't know our way of talking here. Oh, okay. What about this? Does anybody have an issue they want to raise that has bee in their bonnet? Anybody got something?
Tommy, what's going on with you? You see, you got a lot of pent up energy today.
I guess I just I get frustrated because I get asked a lot of stupid questions, and I see a lot of stupid people asking stuff that they shouldn't be asking. This is stuff that is recruitment 101, right? Like
Yep.
we and I had an issue last night, right? A candidate hadn't signed the offer yet, and I said, okay, well, if you're not going to sign it, I'll find somebody else. Just let me know. And he freaked out and said, no, I'm going to sign it at party time, right? And my wife's like, why'd you do that? I go, because you have to ask the bad questions, right? And sometimes I will catch myself doing what I'm not supposed to do, which is wishing a deal together, right? So you have to ask the best questions. You have to ask the questions you want, that you don't want answers to. You want those no's, right? And so many candidates and so many recruiters do that, right? They sit there and let stuff, oh, it'll go together. Everything will be okay. I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm not gonna mess it up. I'm not gonna call the client and say you're taking too long to get an offer. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna tell them who the candidate is till I get a resume, right? All this stupid bullshit that he shouldn't be doing. Fucking set the interview up. If you can't set the interview up, go back and work as an internal recruiter or go sell cars, right? Because you don't know what you're doing. Right,
selling cars is real easy. Yeah, sure. Okay. I gotta have a 6-pack to sell cars. Don't you remember that? Okay.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. So that's what I get frustrated about. I feel like there's so many of us that are trying to help others. Rich does the Tamkin thing. I do the round table. I'm constantly helping people, and I hear the same stupid questions over and over.
Okay. Well, that's life. Okay. I got you reminded me. I got to do Rich's ad. But Rich, I got a problem. Rich is running for best recruiter in America again. And I tried to post about it, I promised. But, Facebook is having a fight with the Canadian government. And so I can't post any links from news. I didn't think Statista, this people who are running this contest for Forbes would be included. But last year it wasn't a problem. It wouldn't allow me to post a link, Rich. So if you want people to vote for you, you're going to have to post it, okay? Because you've got the preferred. You're privileged.
There you go.
You're privileged over me. I'm unprivileged now.
Okay? In America, man, it's got its privileges, right?
Yeah. Okay. You're privileged. You can post there. And one guy, I posted a bit of an article, a big chunk of an article from New York Times, and some guy in my group, and some guy posted under, you didn't even post a link. Like I was pretending it was mine. I can't post a link, you dummy. Okay. I can't post a link. I wasn't pretending. Okay. What about this? Candidate order. That's something you apparently have to. I've heard this before. We all know that allegedly it was a fad for a while. The order in which you're born compared to your siblings is going to determine your personality. If you're older, you'll be smarter and less fun. And a more serious student. If you're younger, you're going to be more creative and playful.
I'm the oldest, and I'm an idiot. And I have a lot of fun. I was a horrible student.
Okay, but that was a fad theory. Okay, but this one says
I'm a fucking idiot, man. That's really bad.
There's all kinds of biases, and one of them is the person who gets interviewed first for that job is not likely to be hired because by the time they get to the last one, they'll have forgotten the first one. Right? Anybody worry about that?
Yes and no. Not for that reason, but depending on the hiring manager and the team, you have to know your hiring manager. So I have one hiring manager, they'll never hire the first one. They want to see a whole slate, blah, blah, blah. Yep. So knowing that, you have to be careful. But no, as a general rule, and no, it's not because they forgot the first one.
I will say if you do have a hiring manager like that, you cannot send in the best candidate first.
Right.
You got to send in the best candidate last.
Because they're going to say no. It doesn't matter. They're going to say no.
Not even if they say no, they're going to drag their, like that. If that's the best candidate, blah, blah, blah. Then that candidate's going to get placed somewhere else. Stuff are going to happen.
Yep.
Right. So, and what you don't want is if they do interview the candidate and they love him and that guy doesn't want the job or that gal doesn't want the job, then they're going to compare every other fucking candidate to him.
To that one. Yeah. So
I had that happen. I had a guy, I don't remember his name. His name was Tim Wessel. He worked for the Army Corps of Engineers. He was a structural engineer. He was awesome. I sent him out to metal sales in Sellersburg, Indiana. They interviewed him and fell in love with him, made him an offer. We couldn't close the deal. Every candidate after that, they were like, no, can't you find us another Tim? Every fucking candidate, that's what they said. I gave up on the search.
Okay, yeah, you gave. I was wondering what happened there, but that reminds me of another guy. He made a placement. They fired his placement before the guarantee was over, and they were pissed off, right? But this guy, that's the random recruiter. He said when he does the intake session, he takes really good notes. He documents everything well, so he could sort of. He didn't put it this way. He could do. Neither does Amy, but this is what she does. She threw it back into the hiring manager's face. He went over the documentation. He said, this person fit all the parameters. Okay. It wasn't my fault. And that sounds like when you're sending a person, 3 candidates out or 4, and you don't want them to forget that first one, maybe you should take really detailed notes if they take the time to give them to you. So, hey, well, I'm not interested in Bill anymore. Geez, after the interview, you thought he had A, B, C, D, E. If you corner the hiring manager like that, you think she's going to give you a break and say, you're right, recruiting animal. I'm wrong. You did do a great job, and I just forgot. Okay, I couldn't remember the interview that well. Anybody got a feedback for me on that? No.
I mean, it seems plausible. I could have a client that could say, hey, I made a mistake. You're right, Tom. That is a good candidate. I don't, yeah.
They're not enthusiastic about him. You proved it on paper, but there's no excitement.
Okay, so here's the thing. One of my best clients is it's all about the personality. It's all about the enthusiasm. If they don't have the personality and the drive and the entrepreneurial and the je ne sais quoi, I don't care how good the resume is, they won't hire them. I'm serious. I'm 100% serious. I could bring them the #1 engineer from their direct competitor, and if he does not have that personality and he does not have what they're looking for, they will not hire him.
I mean, at the end of the day, this year, companies have been obscenely moronic about, if you're not at a 12 out of 10, they're not moving forward with you. This year has been one of the weirdest years for hiring, period.
Okay, but Rich, if they were enthusiastic a while ago, and then they're not enthusiastic, and I try to convince them that on paper, this guy met everything, and they liked him when they actually saw him, you think I'm going to sway someone's make them change their mind?
To see them, or after I've spoken to them?
No, to consider them seriously. You guys look at Tom said. They saw a candidate they love. They wouldn't accept anybody after that. Well, what if you said, look, on paper, this is a great candidate, but they don't have the love. They're not.
It's not for got to have around. Hey, listen, I mean, this. I get that. So this is who you want. They don't want you. Your comp's not enough. You don't. Unless you're going to change your plan, change your company culture, whatever the problem was, it's not going to happen. So let's work with what we've got. And this is the best person in the market right now, based on talking to 500 other people that fit the bill.
Yeah.
What happened. Go ahead.
I was going to say I don't remember which guy said it, but it's about that candidate market. So this year, it has not been a candidate market. So yes, companies have been very picky, and we've been able to be picky too. And we've been able to be like, they need to have all the qualifications, and we need to all love each other. Because you have plenty of candidates out there, and they don't have a lot of options.
You really can't. I honestly,
but I mean, we can.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I think these companies got so picky that they would just, all right, well, we're not going to get fired for not hiring, so we just don't hire. So
we've hired a lot.
But people have hired, but they've seen 20 candidates to find that right person, 50 candidates to see the right person.
I think it's industry specific too, because my clients aren't like that, right? I'm getting one interview hires, 2 interview hires a lot of times.
That market's gotten crushed this year.
Yeah, you guys are
we've got a situation now though with a candidate like that where they meet everything on paper. The assessment they did is great, but there's not that chemistry, and that's what the team is going through right now, because we've been able to hire people that have everything, but we are starting to see the market to shift in our niche where it's getting a little more candidate driven, and so normally, if this had happened 3 months ago, they would definitely not hire her.
But you also remember, depending on because every space is different.
Mm-hmm.
Like for salespeople, you're going after the top 10%. You really are. Unlike other industry groups, you're like, hey, we want a good guy. Sales, you need the top. Or Tommy, it's tough to take you seriously, buddy. I
like it.
Yeah. But sales guys, there's a big difference between the top 10%. And the middle 50, the number 40 or 50 in the pack. So you can think you have all the cards, but you really don't. At least in sales, those top 10% guys, they're not on LinkedIn looking. They're looking when a trusted advisor calls them and tells them about an opportunity. They get it. You know, I get them interested. A buddy gets them interested. You're going to dick around. You're just going to lose that guy, and he's going to go. It's not essentially where he wants, but he's going to have a lot more opportunities than just this one little rinky-dink opening.
I think Animal brings it up. When you recruit a candidate, you get them interested. If your client doesn't move quick, all of a sudden that candidate, well, I got my resume up. I might as well check it. What else is out there, right? So that's
usually within 2 weeks. If you call it,
Yep.
if you follow up with a candidate 2 weeks after he even tells you no, the chance of him turning that to a yes is greatly increased.
And
You
that's
think so?
true internally too. I mean, and that's
I'll
what
just try that.
I've had to teach
I'll
our
do that.
company that it's the same
Yeah.
way. As soon as I find someone who wasn't looking, and now they're looking.
Yep.
Then they're not just
Well,
looking
you
at
got
us.
the resume put together. Another recruiter calls them.
Yep.
Oh, that sounds okay. I'll send. Next thing you
Yep.
know, they're interviewing at 5
They're
companies.
activated.
Goes back to what if you're not ever after every conversation saying, based on everything you've seen so far, if they offer you $80,000 on a company
Will you
car, are
take
you
it?
prepared to resign tomorrow and start in 2
Mhm.
weeks? Right? Has anything changed since the
Anything
last time we
changed?
spoke? Has anything changed since the last time we spoke? Recruiters refuse to fucking ask that, and then they wonder why their candidates take jobs elsewhere.
Yep.
That's very true.
One wants the hard answer. Everyone's afraid.
Okay,
So
I'm
that's
gonna
why
do
I'm upset, Animal.
I'm going to do the ads now. Okay. So, Rich, I'm saying I would have done it earlier if I would have remembered. Okay. Rich Rosen is one of the top solo recruiters in America, according to me. Okay. And if anybody watches the Recruiting Animal show, I think they'll be impressed by the kind of people we have here. Okay. So Rich is now teaching a class every Thursday morning, 8:45 Eastern time. And it's a small group, everything's strictly confidential. You can ask him every question and you can see how he answers those questions. He gives you the straight dirt dish.
Nope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but a real thing in his own true words. And not only that, he's got a sidekick on the show, and she challenges everything that he says, just like I do. Okay. The difference is he's got a bit more respect for her. But anyway, so he's got to justify what he does. So he's not an empty vest. So if you want to check out his show, you can write him rich@cornerstonesearch.com or go to Moore, Moore, essentials.com. Okay, and check it out. Now, Tommy has some big news. He's improved access to his show. He's got a show every Friday. Is it still at 12:30 Eastern? Right. And
Yep.
his forte right now is tech stuff. He'll do all kinds of demos on technology, and he can ask good questions about it. These two guys, Rich and Tom, are I don't know, tech hounds. Is that a word? They're always trying out new things, and so Tommy's bringing on the representatives from the companies, and they're running through everything, giving them a hard time. And so it's called
Thanks.
the Recruiter Roundtable. But you've got a URL for it now, do you? What is it?
RecruiterRoundtable.com.
The recruiterroundtable.com. Now, is that going to take you to the show so you can participate, or will it just take you to the YouTube videos?
Right now, it takes you to the LinkedIn channel, and we may do what you do and have it go right to the show, or may have it just point right to the YouTube where there's a link to get to the
I
show.
gotta run, guys.
See you,
Thanks,
Rich.
See you
Rick.
guys.
See you later. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so we're just going to finish off Tom's. So if that'll take you to the LinkedIn page for that show, and that'll give you a direct link to Google Meet as well. Donna, do you have anything you want to plug?
Nope.
You guys. Bye-bye.